Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itipi so bhagava araham samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manussanam buddho bhagavati. Friends and children in the Dhamma, good evening everybody. Welcome for our broadcasting of the usual Saturday Dhamma talk. I am sure our usual listeners or the audience of these talks know that we are talking about the 9 epithets or the virtues of the Buddha. So far we have covered up to Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati, the virtue of the Buddha being the incomparable tamer of the beings who are said to be impossible to be tamed. Today, the epithet that we are going to explain is Sattha Deva Manussanam, teacher of gods and humans. Now, before that explanation, we have to look into the 9 epithets in this stanza for the clarification that the reasons behind these epithets given or granted for the Buddha. Now, Samma Sambuddha and Vijjacharana Sampanna. These 2 epithets were granted for the Buddha for his immense qualities, virtues, wisdom, powers of wisdom, powers of psychic powers, powers of the mind, showing those or representing those powers and virtues of the Buddha. They granted these 2 epithets for the Buddhas, Samma Sambuddho and Vijjacharana Sampanna, also Araham. Now, the epithet that I described in the last week, which is called Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati, the incomparable tamer, and also teacher of gods and humans, Sattha Deva Manussanam. These 2 epithets were granted for the Buddha for the capability of the Buddha to transform people onto the path of liberation or get the people extracted from the indulgence in the worldly or in the secular pleasures, secular attractions, and put them or place them on the supramundane, non-secular path. So Buddha used his powers, energies, his wisdom, his knowledges, which were mentioned in the Samma Sambuddho and Vijjacharana Sampanno, to be the tamer of the untamable and to be the teacher of gods and humans. The function of his virtues, function of his powers are visible in these two epithets of Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi and Sattadeva Manusana. Yeah. So today our main target is to explain the epithet called Sattha, teacher, master, Deva, divine beings, and Manusa, human beings. Now before that, we can have a look into the types of religion in the world. There are two types. If we categorize all these religions into two categories, we can find the religions based on prayer, prayer-based religions. Hinduism, part of Hinduism actually, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. These are the famous religions which are mainly based on prayer. Praying is their main characteristic. So we call them prayer-based religions. And there are religions which are called meditation-based religions. Taoism, based in China mainly, and of course Buddhism, Jainism, and part of Hinduism, where the yoga is involved. These are the religions based on meditation. Now, when we look at the direction of these two types of religion, meditation is directing towards your inner consciousness, inner being, inner reality. Go deeper and deeper to yourself, understanding your spirituality, the inner being, inner self. The prayer is directing the opposite side. It is directing towards your creator, directing towards the otherness, the creator. Whether you are directing towards the others or directing towards yourself, the moral background or the ethical background behind these both directions are just the same. That's why many people say all religions are same. Not that all religions are same, but the moral background that anybody who has to cultivate to go on these two directions, to the creator or to the inner being, you have to cultivate similar type of moral background. All these civilized religions are against killing, are against stealing, taking what is not given, are against lying, are against sexual misconduct, are against getting intoxicated. All these religions promote faith, promote truthfulness, promote trustworthiness. in different methods, in different language, in different techniques, they do that. So the moral or ethical background of all these religions are same, but the direction is different. Among all these religions, Buddhism bears a very special place because all these religions talk about the blissfulness, the happiness, peace in this present life, and the elevation, the promotion in the afterlife. Somehow they talk about life after death, a rebirth, joining back to the existence again. They all talk about. But Buddhism has taken a further step. That is to stop this process of birth and death completely. All are talking about rebirth in a higher elevated place, elevated existence, practicing the morality, practicing the ethics they teach you. But Buddhism also teaches the ethics and morality for you to practice, but with a different goal in the background. That different goal is you practice Buddhism to stop this continuous process of birth and death, to stop this cycle of suffering, is the goal of Buddhism. So it is common in the world. You can find all those teachers who teach about how to live this life peacefully, happily, how to have a blissful life, and how to have a blissful life as your next life. They are just kind of normal, kind of general, nothing special in it. Buddha also talk about that. He teaches that. But Buddha has a very significant role among all these spiritual masters, that he has to teach, or his teaching is directing an individual into liberation, into Nibbana. Now everybody cannot be Buddhas, and also all the Buddhas cannot be teachers. As you must be well aware of this, because I have been talking about different types of Buddhas in our previous talks. Buddhas the perfect, we call them Samma Sambuddhas. That is the topmost or the rarest type of Buddhas in the world. Only handful of people, handful of individuals became Buddhas the perfect in all this human history. Then comes the Buddhas the private, who became self-enlightened. They were enlightened by themselves, but they are private in the sense they don't have the capability, they don't have the capacity to teach. Then the Buddhas the students, those who get enlightened under a supreme Buddha, or under the first category of Buddhas, that is the Buddhas the perfect. Under Buddhas the perfect, or under Samma Sambuddhas, they get enlightened. They are also Buddhas, but students. These students also, they are enlightened, but they don't have the capability to guide others to the enlightenment. Only these Buddhas, the perfect, Samma Sambuddhas, have the capability to guide all the sentient beings. Whoever is capable, whoever has the previous practices in the samsara as his support, we call them parami. Who has the parami as his support, who is willing to get out of this mud of samsara, the Buddha, the perfect, or Samma Sambuddha can guide them. Those beings can be among human beings or can be among devas, divine beings. Buddha is the teacher for them. Buddha is the guide for them. They cannot be enlightened by themselves. They must need a teacher. Buddha is the teacher. Samma Sambuddha is the teacher. Why other Buddhas, though they were enlightened, why can't they teach others? Because your enlightenment is yours. And about you, your capability of getting enlightened is even unknown to you. You even are not aware of your own capability of getting enlightened. Because what we all know about the samsara, moving from life to life, life to life, we all know about the samsara, but we do not know about getting out of the samsara. We know the prison. We do not know the freedom. We know the suffering, but we do not know the bliss when we are out of suffering. So we are not familiar at all with the liberation. We are only familiar with the shackles, with the prison. So we do not know what kind of guidance, what kind of direction we have to move towards for our liberation. We are not aware of it. So there must be a noble individual who has all these powers to understand our own temperament better than ourselves, to understand us better than us, better than we. Because of this clear understanding of us, with the clear understanding of our capability, of our ability of development, of our strength of parami behind us, a Samma Sambuddha can guide us because he understands everything of us. So just because somebody get enlightened, he does not have the capability to understand the audience, understand his followers. So if you do not understand the follower better than the follower himself, you cannot guide him. So only the Buddha is the perfect. He has the knowledge. He has the capability to decide what kind of practice that we have to move into, but that we have to attend to. What kind of temperament that we are carrying on. What kind of attitudes, habit pattern that we are bearing within. With all these understanding that the Buddha, the perfect, Samma Sambuddha, can guide, can teach the correct method, correct practice for his follower to continue, and with that thousands of his followers got liberated. And it is still happening, because all the Buddha's messages were by-hearted by his immediate followers. For generations, they transmitted the Buddha's message of liberation for centuries, and in Sri Lanka, during the times of Vattagamini Abhay, Walagamba, it was written down. And those written down words of the Buddhas are very much available even after 25 centuries. The Buddha's words are available. So if we get acknowledged with the Buddha's words, we are getting little by little awareness of the truth, awareness of the reality. With the awareness of the truth and reality, we are driving, we are being helped to be liberated from the suffering, liberated from the unnecessary bondages. Deeper the awareness goes, deeper the liberation goes. Buddha himself said, Yo Dhammam Passati So Mang Passati. If someone sees Dhamma, sees me. Physical body was not important for the Buddha even while he was living. That is why he chased away a monk called Vakkali, who was addicted to observe the Buddha. He chased away this monk, saying, Kinte Vakkali imina putikayana dittena. What is the purpose? What is the use of seeing this disgusting physical body of mine? If you want to see the Buddha, see the real Buddha, you have to see the Dhamma. How to see the Dhamma? Simple. Simple to explain that applying this Dhamma and putting into it practice. The practice is nothing but meditation. In the meditation, you go deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. And with this diving deeper into yourself, you start finding this truth within yourself. You start finding that liberation within yourself. This discovery of the liberation within you is nothing but the discovery of the Buddha within you. When you discover the Buddha within you, that means you see the real Buddha. Because the Buddha who is outside to you and the Buddha inside within you is just the same. So when you see that Buddha within you, you see the real Buddha outside to you. If you do not see the real Buddha within you, you don't see the actual Buddha outside to you. You just see the physical body, which got old, which got sick, and which died ultimately. Physical body is just the covering of the Buddha, not the real one. The real Buddha is to be seen with your practice. Now, even before that, if you are getting more and more acknowledged about this Dhamma, more and more knowledge, deeper your knowledge goes, you start seeing the master who taught this Dhamma, the real master who taught this Dhamma, what kind of noble being he was. what kind of master he was, will be very much clear to you with the deeper knowledge of this Dhamma. Yeah? So Buddha is still alive in the sense his Dhamma is still alive. And thousands of people still getting so much of benefit out of this Dhamma. They find bliss, happiness, joy in their lives because of this Dhamma. And if they want to practice this Dhamma in its pristine quality, they still can do it today, because that Dhamma, the original Dhamma, is still there, very much available to us. So Buddha's teaching continues. His teaching continues until this Buddhism will wipe out from this earth. When he was enlightened, we all know that after 7 weeks of enjoying the bliss of emancipation, he went looking for students. He found 7 students, 5 students. These 5 students became 60 in no time. By the end of the Vassa, by the end of the first rains retreat in Benares, he had 60 students. And these students he sent away. They are liberated. Now no more point of following the Buddha. Now it is your duty to share your liberation, to bring those people who are willing to come to your liberation as much as possible. So he sent those 60 monks in 60 directions. What was his advice? Charata bhikkhave charikam. Monks, just travel. For what? Bahujana hitaya, bahujana sukhaya. For the well-being of, for the happiness of many. Atta hitaya sukhaya deva manussana. For the well-being of divine beings as well as humans. Now we can see Buddha is always in concern about the divine beings. Even in this epithet, Satta Deva Manussanam, Devas come first. Yeah? Because in Buddhism, divine beings are not permanently somebody who is staying in the divine realms. Their lives are just temporary as ours. Only thing, they can be a little bit longer there. That's all. Otherwise, as sentient beings, they are also having or living a temporary life, which is going to finish one day sooner or later. So they also must be supported, must be helped to take some steps on this path of the Dhamma. That's why in the daily timetable of the Buddha, in the middle watch of the night, Buddha's time was confined to the divine beings. Middle watch is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. at night. During these hours, many divine beings approached the Buddha and asked all sorts of questions. Some of those questions became the basis for very important suttas, like Mahamangala Sutta, which we are usually chanting for our daily blessings. And even the Abhidhamma, the deepest teaching in Buddhism, were taught to the Devas in the Tavatinsa realm of Devas. This Abhidhamma was taught to all the Devas in those 6 realms, especially for the benefit of his mother who passed away. When the Bodhisattva was born, after 7 days, the mother passed away. And she has taken her next life in the Tusita Deva realm as the Matru Divyaraja. For her benefit and for the benefit of all the divine beings, Buddha ascended to Tavatinsa realm and taught this Abhidhamma, the most important teaching in Buddhism, or the deepest teaching in Buddhism. So we can see Buddha's assistance, Buddha's help for those divine beings who are also in the sentient realms, who are not away from the birth and death, who are in the process of birth and death. And Buddha himself always stressed out that he is a teacher, not a transporter. We expect Buddha to be our transporter. But Buddha very clearly said he is Sattha, a teacher. Now, once in Sravati, Buddha used to give talks in every evening. And one young man who used to come for those talks every evening, he came little earlier that day and he found Buddha is alone. He approached the Buddha and he had this question nursing in him for some time, and he wanted to ask this question. He said, Bhagavan, I have been coming to your talks whenever you are in the town, whenever you are giving talks here. I came for the talks, not only me, but also my fellow neighbors, friends in the area. They also came with me. And some of them, they had so much of changes in them after listening to you. They gave up everything. They went forth and became monks and nuns. Now, some of them seems to be liberated completely. But some of them who came to listen to you, though they did not become monastics, they changed their lives completely in the sense of attitudes. Now they are more compassionate. They are more generous now. They avoid breaking 5 precepts. They are living a kind of a simple, innocent lives without disturbing others. But Lord, there are some people who came to listen to your talks just like us. They just forget what you tell them. They just forget what you talk just after they leave the monastery. As soon as they go back to their homes, they have completely forgotten what you told them to do or not to do. And I feel very sad about them. These people seems they are bound to go to the perdition, bound to be in a suffering existence as their next lives. They are bound to go to suffering when they are dead and gone. You, my Lord, you are a perfect Buddha, all-knowing, omniscient Buddha. Why can't you just bring them to the Nibbana? Why can't you just bring them to the liberation? without letting them to go to perdition even after they meet you, even after a meeting, seeing you, even after listening to you, if they are going to be in hell as their next lives. It is such a waste. It is such a disaster. Why can't you just help them? Drag them to Nibbana. Then Buddha, without answering this young man directly, he just questioned him back. He said, young man, though you are in Sravati, it seems you are a foreigner. You are not a native of this Sravati, are you? Young man said, no, Lord, I am not from Savatya. I am from Kosala, another city, far away city. I am here for the business purpose. I am here to earn money. Did you completely left Kosala to come here, or are you often go back there? Lord, I go back there. I go back to Kosala time to time because my parents are there, my siblings are there. Only I came to this city. Since all my relatives are in Kosala, I usually go there. Then, young man, you must be very much familiar with the road between these two cities, Kosala and Sravati. Yes, Lord, I am very much familiar. I know very well. Even in the darkness, even with closed eyes, I can walk to Kosala and come back. Then, young man, if somebody asks you about the road, about the path to Kosala, will you tell that person clearly about the road, or will you hide it? What is there to hide, Lord? I explain very clearly, without any errors, without any mistakes. He can go to Kosala if he listens to me carefully. I will explain it. Then all who are learning the map, the road to Kosala, would they be gone there after they learn the map to Kosala? How can that happen, Lord? Just because they learn the road or the map towards Kosala, if they don't walk, they cannot go to Kosala. I don't carry anybody Kosala. I don't take anybody to Kosala on my shoulders. They have to walk. They have to make effort to go to Kosala. Young man, I am just the same. I am as you are. I have been to Nibbana and I know the path, the technique, the method to reach that same Nibbana. And I can explain to you clearly, without any errors, without any mistakes, according to your abilities, how to reach to that Nibbana. But the walk is up to you. You have to make an effort to go there. But young man, you see, many people learn the road from me. Many people come and listen to the explanation of the road from me, but they are not willing to take even a single step towards the Nibbana. I cannot carry anybody there. Not that I don't want. It is impossible because it is to happen within you, in your inner being, in your inner consciousness. is where the liberation happens. I cannot do that for them. I can tell them how to do that. They have to do it. So Buddha is not a transporter. Nobody can be carried to Nibbana. Even when you meet a Buddha, you have to do the work yourself. Buddha won't bring you there. Only thing, Buddha is much more capable of understanding you and giving you the easiest path, shortest path possible, according to your abilities, to reach to that Nibbana. That is the speciality in the Buddha. Yeah. But still, you have to make the journey. So Buddha is a teacher, not a transporter. And in the Buddha's eyes, though he is willing to help everybody, he just don't want to waste his time on the unworthy beings. So if somebody is required to be taught how to live this life peacefully, happily, blissfully, then he will teach the method of learning or method of living this life peacefully. Siga Loa the Sutta, when you read that, it is all about this life. How to live this life, fulfilling your responsibilities, your duties. How to live this life where you will not have any regrets. So if somebody must be taught how to have a blissful, happy life as his next life, he will talk about that. He is not going to teach him how to attain Nibbana because he has no that potential within him for that Nibbana. Buddha wouldn't waste his time. If somebody is willing or if somebody has that potential to be enlightened, it doesn't matter what kind of difficulties existing for him, Buddha will guide him step by step, step by step. Once he give you the method of practicing, Buddha is always, as a teacher, keeping an eye on him. No matter whether that meditator, whether that his student is practicing so far away from the Buddha. Not all the students who learnt meditation meditated with the Buddha. No. Once they learn the technique, they go far away to a suitable, silent, comfortable place with less obstacles. They go and start practicing. But after that, Buddha keep an eye on them with his mind's eye about how their practice is going on. Now, even today in the meditation centers, in the forest monasteries, when the monks meditate, they arrange a seat in front of them. Some monks still practice this ancient technique, ancient habit, kind of habit. In front of their cushion, they place another cushion. Now, this habit pattern started because of the Buddha's guidance, giving guidance to the meditators. If the meditator, when he is practicing, if he is stuck while the Buddha was living, if he is stuck, being unable to move on, then Buddha will appear in front of him and help him to be disentangled from that temporary bondage. to bring back from his distraction to the right track. Buddha will appear and guide him. So until his liberation, Buddha is keeping an eye on him, whether he is continuously practicing, or whether he has reached, or whether he has stuck somewhere. This is the great master. But remember, Buddha guides such people like that only if they are capable of. Otherwise, Buddha would teach them, okay, this is your area of development. I will help you to develop in that area. Yeah. And Buddha's method of teaching is not similar to everybody all the time. Different types of methods, because the intellectual level of the people are not at all similar to each other, for all. So he had to adopt different types of techniques. The most common method of technique he used was Anupubhikata, that is gradual talk, to develop the listener little by little, from the worldly level, from the secular level, how to develop in the secular level from the human level to the divine level, and even teaching the impermanence of the divine level, and how important is to let go everything of impermanence, and then to develop mindfulness on the Four Noble Truths. So it comes as Dana Katha, the practice of generosity, Sila Katha, practice of morality. Now when you practice both these areas of generosity and morality, remember, generosity doesn't mean giving away materials all the time. People, when they talk about generosity, they think about donation, they think about giving money, giving wealth, giving materials to others. No, generosity is ability of your sharing. Your ability of sharing can be anything. Can be your time, can be your physical strength, can be a smile. Yeah. It is the ability of sharing, like a tree. The tree shares its flowers, its fruits, its energy, the oxygen. The day that tree started sprouting, it is the day that tree starts its sharing. It is sharing for the tree, without expectations, without aspirations, just for the sake of sharing. The tree shares. If a man can develop such a sharing within him, that is generosity. Yeah? It is such a nobility. If you develop such a sharing within you, your next life is divinity, divine among the divine beings. That kind of sharing we have to develop. So practice this generosity, dana, and practice morality. Be an innocent, kind, compassionate, loving person. Be a harmless person. Morality. So dana sila leads sagga to the heaven. Then Buddha teaches, even in the sagga, even in the heaven, it is temporary. Your bliss, your joy is not going to last forever. You are bound to come down to somewhere unknown to you. You don't have any authority. You don't have any determination of your rebirth. So from heaven you can go anywhere. Why are you going to be attached to something so impermanent? So he started teaching about impermanence, anicca. Then trained his mind little by little to abhinikmana, to the renunciation, to let go. Let go all of these things which are impermanent and going to create suffering for you later on. No point of being attached to them. Then after that he teaches the special teachings of the Buddha, that is the Four Noble Truths: suffering, cause of suffering, elimination of suffering, elimination the cause of suffering, then the path to eliminate that cause of suffering. If that person has the parami, sometimes on the seat while listening, he attains to the first stage of sainthood, Sotapanna. His eye of the Dhamma will open. Dhamma Chakkung Udapadi. His eye of the Dhamma, or the Dhamma eye, opens while listening to the Buddha. Can you imagine the Buddha's ability to go to the level of that listener? Remember, Buddha is not teaching Dhamma to impress somebody. He is not teaching Dhamma to hypnotize somebody. It is not a show of his oratory skills. It is not showing off also his wisdom. He goes to the level of the listener. He goes to the level of the mind of the audience. And from there he elevates the listener's understanding of the truth, understanding of the reality. He goes to the level of the listener. Because in front of the Buddha, if you go and sit down, you are like a clean slate for him. You are just transparent to the Buddha, open book for the Buddha. You cannot hide anything from Buddha. Buddha knows you more than you yourself. So Buddha goes to your level of understanding, level of wisdom, and then elevate you from there. He is the greatest teacher. The greatest teacher this world has ever seen. Because, as I said earlier, there are many teachers who will teach you how to live this life, the art of living for the bliss, happiness, joy of this life, and the promotion or elevation as your next life, to be born in heaven. They will teach you all this, but it is very rare for somebody to teach you the art of living, to stop this process of birth and death, to stop this cycle of suffering henceforth completely. There are very rare teachers. They are called Samma Sambuddhas. With their immense wisdom, their knowledge, their psychic powers. By using all those knowledge and psychic powers, Buddha used them out of great compassion, out of that immense kindness in their heart. They guide, they teach their listeners to their own liberation. There's a beautiful story. With that, we will conclude this talk. There were two brothers. Both of them were born on the roads. Yeah. What happened was, the mother came to her parents' house when she was about to give birth, but she couldn't reach the parents' house. On the way, she had to give birth to two sons, younger and the other ones. Since they were born on the roads, they were called Pantaka. Pantaka. Elder one is Mahapantaka, younger one is Chulapantaka. They grew up with their grandfather, and grandfather was a devout follower of the Lord Buddha. So when the grandfather visited the temple of the Buddha, this elder boy, Mahapantaka, used to follow the grandfather, and he started getting familiar with Buddhism, familiar with the Buddha's teachings, and he decided it is better for me to become a monk. Yeah? It is better for me to go forth from the home life into homelessness. Then he got the permission from the grandfather. He became a monk. He started practicing and became an arahant. He was an enlightened disciple of the Buddha. After he was enlightened, he thought, I must share this gem, this jewel, this treasure, this Dhamma with my younger brother. He went to the grandfather's house, and he got the permission from the grandfather to ordain the younger one also. So this younger Pantaka, Chula Pantaka, came to the monastery. He was ordained, and immediately he started learning Buddhism little by little. But there was this problem, this difficulty, that this guy, this young boy, cannot remember anything. His memory was so poor. Yeah. It says it took 4 months for the teachers to teach one stanza or verse in Pali. But still after 4 months, this Chula Pantaka, young monk, cannot remember that stanza. His memory is so poor. Now, those days as well as today, the world usually think the memory as the wisdom, memory as the knowledge. Yeah. If you cannot memorize, you must be dumb. You must be an idiot. Yeah. But memory has nothing to do with the wisdom in the Buddha's eyes. Yeah. In the Buddha's vision, memory is just a trivia, just a help, just an assistance, that's all. So all the monks started giving up on this Chula Pantaka. Even his own brother, Mahapantaka, Venerable Mahapantaka, thought, my young brother Chula Pantaka is not suitable for a monk. Yeah, he's not suitable for the monk's life. So without even directly telling him that you better disrobe and go, this Mahapantaka and the other elder monks started ignoring this Chula Pantaka. And Chula Pantaka, this young monk, novice monk, understood what's going on. He was so sad, and he decided it is better for me to live this monastic life. My brother must be right. I am not suitable for the monk's life. I better go back to my grandfather's house, become a householder, disrobe, and I will do merits. So he decided to disrobe and go. Early morning, he left the temple. For his luck, early morning Buddha was in meditation, spreading the net of compassion, Maha Karuna Samapatti, spreading that net of compassion in search for a person, for an individual to help that day. And Buddha did not have to reach so far away, because there was one individual in the temple itself that required his help. So Buddha went to the gate of the temple prior to this young Samanera, young monk Cholapantaka, and waited, pacing up and down, waited for this young monk to come. This Cholapantaka, when he saw the Buddha, he went there and respected paid his respect to the Buddha. Buddha said, "Where are you going?" Then Cholapantaka related the story. "It seems I am not suitable for this monk life." Buddha said, "Who decided that? You became a monk on behalf of me. For the sake of my teaching, you became a monk, not for your brothers. Come with me." And he brought back this young monk to his chambers, letting him sit down in front of the chamber in the veranda, and gave him this easy, simple technique. Gave him a piece of cloth, very white, very clean, and keeping it on the left palm, he asked this Chulapantaka to rub that piece of cloth with the right palm, repeatedly saying, "Rajo Haranam, Rajo Haranam, may the dust gone, may the dust gone, Rajo Haranam, Rajo Haranam." Now this was his practice, this was his technique of meditation. So when he was continuously practicing on this, and he found, because of his rubbing of this very ultra clean piece of cloth, because of this rubbing, it has become dirty. Then he thought, what kind of dirty were there on my palm unnoticed? Now, if my palm bears such kind of dirt, what kind of dirt and defilements must be there in my consciousness? I must get rid of them. So his attention was diving within himself, and Buddha guided him through this meditation, and he was liberated, enlightened while he was sitting there in the veranda of the Buddha. This was Buddha's capability. If you have the parami within you to be enlightened, no matter what kind of unwholesome deeds you may have done in your past, and you have obstacles, Buddha will destroy those obstacles for you by giving a suitable method, suitable technique for your practice until you are liberated out of his compassion. For 45 years, he was assisting, guiding people for the liberation. Since he bore this great position of the master to guide people to the liberation, not only the human being, but also devas, he is called Sattha Deva Manusana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sabbetiyo vivajjantu, sabbarogo vinassatu, mate bhavatvantarayo, sukhi digayuko bhava. Sadhu. Now, next event is the chanting. If you want to listen to that chanting, you better subscribe or join the YouTube channel, Njbv Vihara YouTube. It is broadcasting via this YouTube channel. Yeah. Sadhu.
I have another speaker. I'll bring it for you tomorrow.
It is so subtle. Sadhu, sadhu.
Minta kok putri dan ulah. suffering it is. A lot of hell's here. We come back every month. We don't come back. Nothing wrong with that.
समन्ता चक्रवालेषु अत्रा गच्छन्तु देवता सद्धम्मं मुनिराजस्य शृण्वन्तु सग्मुखं परित्तश्रवणकालो अयं वदन्तः परित्तश्रवणकालो अयं वदन्तः परित्तश्रवणकालो अयं वदन्तः नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स इतिपितो भगवा अरहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण सम्पन्नो सुखतो लोकविदो अनन्तर पुरिस धम्म सारथि सत्ता देव मनुस्सानं बुद्धो भगवते स्वाक्खातो भगवता धम्मो सन्दिट्ठितो अकालिको एहिपस्सितो उपनयितो पश्चात्तं वेदितव्यो विඤ्ञोहीति सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो जुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो सामीचि पटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरिस युगानि अष्ट पुरिस पुग्गलायेस भगवतो सावक संघो आहुनेयो बाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलि करनीयो अनन्तरं पुण्यक्षेत्रं लोकस्साति गणसारप्पनिड्डेन दीपेन तमदंसिनाति लोकदीपं सम्बुद्धं पूजयामि तमोनुद samaya abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati katamāca sāvikkave majjhimā patipadā tathāgatena abhisambuddhā cakku karani jnana karani upasamaya abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati ayameva ariyo attangiko maggo teyadikam sammāditthi පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඝෝ වනිදං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං පහතබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ සමුදයං අරිය සත්‍යං පහිනන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි නිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං තිමේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඝෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං සච්චිකාතබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධං අරිය සත්‍යං සච්චිකතං මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංදුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදා අරිය සත්‍යං තිමේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදා අරිය සත්‍යං භාවේ තබ්බන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි සංඛෝපනිදං දුක්ඛ නිරෝධගාමිනී පටිපදා අරිය සත්‍යං භාවිතන්ති මේ භික්ඛවේ පුබ්බේ අනනුස්සුතේසු ධම්මේසු චක්ඛුං උදපාදි ඥානං උදපාදි පඤ්ඤා උදපාදි විඤ්ඤා උදපාදි ආලෝකෝ උදපාදි යාවකේ වංචනේ භික්ඛවේ ඉමේසු චතුසු අරිය සත්‍යේසු ඒවන්ති පරිවට්ටං ද්වාදසාකාරං යථා භූතං ඥාන දස්සනං අසුවිසුද්ධං අහෝසීනේව තාවාහං භික්ඛවේ සතේවකේ ලෝකේ සමාරගේ සම්බ්‍රාහ්මකේ සස්සමන බ්‍රාහ්මනියා පජාය තදේව මනුස්සාය අනුත්තරං සම්මා සම්බෝධින් පරිජඤ්ඤාසින් යතුච කෝමේ භික්ඛවේ ඉමේසු චතුසු අරිය සච්චේසු එවං පරිවට්ටං භගවතා ධම්මචක්කේ බුම්මා දේවා සත්ත මනුස්සාවේසුං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්කං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේනචිවා ලෝකස්මින් උම්මානං දේවානං සත්තං සුඛ්වා මහරජිකා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉතිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්කං පවත්තිතං අප්පටිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේනචිවා ලෝකස්මින් චාතුම් මහරජිකානං දේවානං සත්තං සුත්වා තින්සා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං ඒතං භගවතා භාරාණසියං ඉසිපතනේ මිගදායේ අනුත්තරං ධම්මචක්කං පවත්තිතං අප්පතිවත්තියං සමනේන වා බ්‍රාහ්මනේන වා දේවේන වා මාරේන වා බ්‍රහ්මුණා වා කේනචිවා ලෝකස්මින් තාවතින්තානං දේවානං සත්තං සුත්වා යාමා දේවා සද්ද මනුස්සාවේසුං ඒතම් භගවතා භාරාණසියං සහස්සී ලෝකධාතු සංකම්පි සම්පකම්පි සම්පවේති අපමානෝ චෞලාරෝ භාසෝ ලෝකේ පාතුරහෝසි අතික්කම්ම දේවානං දේවානුභාවන්තේ අතකෝ භගවා උදානං උදානේති අඤ්ඤාසිවත භෝගොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ අඤ්ඤාසිවත භෝගොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ ආයස්මතෝ කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤස්ස අඤ්ඤා කොණ්ඩඤ්ඤෝ දේවනාමං අහෝසි තේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සම්ප දුක්ඛං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සම්ප භයං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වන්තදික්ඛේ සබ්බේව භූතා සුමනා භවන්තු අතෝපි සක්කච්ඡ සුනන්තු වාසිතං තස්මායි භූතානි සාමේත සබ්බේ මෙත්තං කරෝත මානුෂයා පජාය දිවාච රක්ඛෝ ච රන්දියේ බලින් තස්මායි නේරක්කත අප්පමත්තායං කිංච විත්තං හිතවා උරං වාසග්ගේ සුවායං රතනං පනීතං නනෝ සමං අත්ථි තථාගතේන ඉදම්පි බුද්දේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කයං විරාගං අමතං පනීතං යතච්චගා සක්්‍ය මුනි සමාහිතෝ නතේන ධම්මේන සමත්ති කිංචි ඉදම්පි ධම්මේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යම් බුද්ධ සෙට්ඨෝ පරිවන්නයේ සුතින් සමාධිමානං තරිකඤ්ඤමාහු සමාධිනාතේන සමෝන විච්ඡති ධම්පි ධම්මේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවන්ති හෝතු යේ පුද්ගලා අට්ඨසතං පසන්තා චත්තාරි ඒතානි යුගානි හොන්ති තේ දක්ඛිනෙය්‍යා සුගතස්ස ශාවකා ඒතේ සුදින්නානි මහප්පලානි ධම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යේ සුප්පයුත්තා මනසා දල්ලේන නික්ඛාමිනෝ ගෝතම සාසනං මේතේ පත්තිපත්තා මතං විගය්‍ය ලද්දා මුදා නිබ්බුතිං බුඤ්ජමානායි ධම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යතින්ද කීලෝ පඨවින්සිතෝ සියා චතුබ්බිවාතේ බිය සම්පකම්පියෝ තතුපමං සප්පුරිසං වදාමි යෝ අරිය සත්‍යානි අවෙච්ච පස්සති ධම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යේ අරිය සත්‍යානි විභාවයන්ති ගම්භීර පඤ්ඤේන සුදේසිතානි කිංචාපිතේ හොන්ති කුසප්පමත්තානතේ භවං අත්තමං ආදියන්ති ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වස්ස දස්සන සම්පදාය දයස්සු ධම්මා ජහිතා භවන්ති සක්ඛාය දිට්ඨි විචිකිච්ඡිතං ච සීලබ්බතං වාපි අදත්ති කිංචි චතුවපායේ නිච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාවිඨානානි අබබ්බෝ කාතුං නිදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු පිංචාපිසෝ කම්මං කරෝති පාපකං කායේන වාචා කුම්බේ යතා පුස්සිතග්ගේ ගිම්මාන මාසේ පටමස්මින් ගිම්මේ තතූපමන් ධම්ම වරං අදේශයේ නිබානගාමින් පරමං හිතාය ඉදම්පි බුත්තේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වරෝ වරඤ්ඤෝ වරදෝ වරාහරෝ අනුත්තරෝ ධම්ම වරං අදේශයි ඉදම්පි බුත්තේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කේනං පුරාණං නවන්නත්ති සම්භවං විරත්ත චිත්තායතිකේ භවස්මින් තේ කීන බීජා විරුල්ලිච්ඡන්දා නිබ්බන්ති යතායම් පදීපෝ ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගයා නිවාන්තලික්කේ තථාගතං තං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වහන්තලික්කේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං ධම්මං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වහන්තලික්කේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං සංඝං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු ඒතේන සච්ච වච්චේන සබ්බ දුක්ඛං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වච්චේන සබ්බ භයං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වච්චේන සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු වරණීය මත්ත කුසලේන යන්තං සන්තං පදං අபிසුච සුවචෝ චස්ස මුතුවනතිමානේ සන්තොස්සකෝ ච සුකරෝ ච අප්පකිච්ඡෝ ච සල්ලෞකවත්තේ සම්තින්ද්‍රියෝ ච කුලේසු අනනුගිත්තෝ නච කුත්තං සමාචරේ කිංචේන විඤ්ඤෝ පරේ උපවදෙය්‍යං සුඛිනෝ වාගේමිනෝ හොන්තු සබ්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතත්තා ඒකේ චිපාන භූතත්තේ තසාවාතාවරාවානවසේසා දීඝාවායේ මහන්තාවා මජ්ජිමා රස්සකානුකතෝලා දිට්ඨාවායේ වද්දිට්ඨායේ ච දුරේ වසන්ති අවිදුරේ භූතාවා සම්භවේති වා සබ්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතත්තා නපරෝ වරන්නේ කුබ්බේත නාති මඤ්ඤේත කත්තචිනං කංචි ව්‍යාරෝසනා පටිග සංඥානාඤ්ඤමඤ්ඤස්ස දුක්ඛ නිච්චය මාතා යතානියං පුත්තං ආයුසා ඒක පුත්ත මනුරක්ඛේ එවං පිසබ්බ භූතේසු මාන සම්භාවයේ අපරිමාණං මෙත්තං ච සබ්බ ලෝකස්මින් මාන සම්භාවයේ අපරිමාණං උද්ධං අදෝච තිරියං ච අසම්බාධං අවේරං අසපත්තං තිට්ඨං චරං නිසින්නෝ වා සයානෝ වා යාව තස්ස විගත මිද්දෝ ඒතං සතින් අදිත්තේය බ්‍රහ්මමේතං විහාරං ඉදමා භූදිට්ඨිං ච අනුපගම්ම සීලවාදස්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනය්‍යගේතං නයිජාතු ගබ්බදෙය්‍යං පුනරේති තේන සච්ච වච්චේන සොත්තිතේ හෝතු සබ්බදා ඒතේන සච්ච වච්චේන සොත්තිතේ හෝතු සබ්බදා ඒතේන සච්ච වච්චේන සොත්තිතේ හෝතු සබ්බදා සබ්බීතියෝ විවච්ඡන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු මාතේ භවත්වන්තරායෝ සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භව භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ එත්තාවතා ච අම්මේහි සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පතං සබ්බේ දේවා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එත්තාවතා ච අම්මේහි සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පතං සබ්බේ භූතා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා එත්තාවතා ච අම්මේහි සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පතං සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පත්ති සිද්ධියා ආකාශට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාශට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාශට්ටා ච බුම්මට්ටා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරන් රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ඉදම්මේ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතේනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ දේවෝ වස්සතු කාලේ च प्रेतो भवतु भवतो च राजा भवतु धम्मिको इमिना पुण्यकम्मेन मामे बालसमागमो सतं समागमो होतु यावनिब्बानपत्त्या इदं मे पुण्यं आसवक्त्रया होतु सर्वदुःखापमुञ्चतु अभिवादन श्रीनिस्स नित्यं वद्धावचायिनो चत्तारो धम्मा वर्धन्ते आयुवन्नो सुखं बलं आयुरारोग्यं